Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. Evo is going on right now. It's the land of trailers and reveals. And yes, we got our latest character trailer for City of the Wolves, the latest Fatal Fury game. And we have a returning character, not necessarily like a Fatal Fury stalwart, but returning from Garou Mark of the Wolves. And that is Kevin Rian. Kevin is a police officer who works for the SWAT department over in Southtown. Southtown, sort of famous for the crime problems. You know, Geese Howard, we have Freeman, who murdered one of Kevin's friends, right? So he's definitely after him. And Freeman, he's actually mentioned in Kevin's bio, which makes you think, he might just show up a bit later on as well. So far for City of the Wolves, we've had several new characters. We have some of the classics from Fatal Fury like Terry Bogard, and a couple that appear in the official art, which are likely characters like Billy Kane. Someone like Kevin, though, made his debut in Mark of the Wolves and kind of stayed there, right? Many other characters that were in Mark of the Wolves that made their debut there moved on to King of Fighters, made appearances elsewhere. So this is a pretty big return for Kevin. And also Kevin Rian. Kevin has a much more famous relative in the SNK universe. Kevin Rian is related to Mary Rian. And who is Mary Rian? Well, you probably know her better as Blue Mary. Mary was not in Mark of the Wolves, but maybe this time around she might show up and they might interact. So now about Kevin in the game. Kevin, one of the things about him in Mark of the Wolves was he was top tier. And I mean very, very top tier. He could basically do everything the game could ask for you. Kevin was very explosive, both very literally in terms of his moveset, as basically everything he does causes an explosion. As far as being like a police officer goes, he's not a very careful cop. But also, metaphorically explosive just because he could basically do everything. I expect him to maybe be a bit toned down in this game. So that said, now let's talk about the trailer. Let's talk about what we're seeing here. So first off, we actually have a lovely new stage here. We're at the Southtown Zoo. A perfectly good area just for two people to bat it out and just punch each other in the face. Now, as for what we're seeing here gameplay-wise, we have some interesting stuff. First, we have basically kind of like the built-in target combo, heavy punch, heavy kick. Many characters have something like this. Then you're seeing this little bit of a commando crawl. This is one of his signature moves. So when he's doing his commando crawl, he actually has multiple moves he can do. And from here, he's going for his kick option. Now, the thing about the commando crawl, on top of just being interesting by itself, right? Because, it gives you a very low profile, is the fact the options from it. So this kick here is a true overhead. Like, it does a low crush over Terry's attack, but you do have to block it standing, at least in Garou, and has two follow-ups, and when you know it, one is overhead and the other one's a low, so the mix is sort of built into itself there. Now, next up, our next pair of moves that we're seeing here, one is a classic returning one, the other one appears to be a bit new. So the first one here, the bit where he's kind of dunking on you with a little bit of extra flash, that is the Hell Snipe. So this is a move that traditionally actually struggles somewhat to hit people on the ground. It's generally best used to hit people in the air or just like general combo ability. And the other move we have appears to be a new move. So he leaps up off the ground here. Once again, you see Terry's whiffing an attack, right? So it does have some evasive property. And he explodes. Kevin's really big on exploding. And just crashes straight downwards. I do believe this is new. If I'm incorrect, please call me out in the comments. But this looks very interesting. Our next segment in the trailer, we're getting some classic Garou going on here. So first off, close heavy punch, going into the Hell Trap, which is a break version, so the entire move does not play out. And after going into the Hell Trap, we're going into the Hell Rotor. And yes, there's a lot of moves with Hell here. Kevin being a police officer, in this day and age, the police are viewed differently than they were back in the day, right? And the fact that all of his moves are named Hell something, I don't know, maybe it just doesn't speak the best of the Southtown Police Department. But simplistic combo, but once again, close normals going into a special which you can break, cancel, juggling out. That's very much the intended combo experience of City of the Wolves. And we're going to see something along similar lines here. So crouch light punch into the Hell Trap break, which once again gives us juggle potential. And then we're going into EX Rotor. And keep in mind, Kevin comes from a game where EX moves weren't a thing yet, right? So anyone who is from Mark of the Wolf specifically, they're going to have a lot of new toys to play around with. And then canceling out that EX to a Rev cancel, going into the Rev Blow, the green glow here, sort of like the universal armored move. And speaking of the rev blow, we can see here the jumping rev blow. Everyone has a grounded and a jumping one, and this is Kevin's. Next up, we have more combo ability. So just like many SNK games, it's mostly going to start with like a close heavy normal, as you would expect. So then from there, we have EX Hell Rotor, rev canceled into Hell Trap, and when that connects, we get another rev cancel going into our newer leaping move where he's kind of slamming into the enemy. So the universal systems that are in play in City of the Wolves work just as well for Kevin as everyone else. Rev cancel in the EX move into rev cancel in the EX move into rev cancel, and so on and so forth. Now next up, we're going to start really ramping up that combo potential, showing off what the game can do and what Kevin can do specifically. So we open up with an EX version of Kevin's Command Grab. It's an SNK game, half the roster has Command Grabs, that's just kind of how it goes. And you can rev cancel a Command Grab like anything else, right? So going into Hell Trap, and then rev cancel that into Hell Rotor, although it looks like that has a break now. And from that break, we go into level 1 super, the Gatling Freezer, and then we go into Lucky Strike. So he's actually comboing one level 1 super into the other level 1 super, which potentially does more damage than just a single level 2 super by itself. Don't know for sure, but unless you're specifically trying to style on somebody, that would seem to be the benefit of doing 2 level 1s in one combo instead of just going for 1 level 2. And keep in mind, all this is off the back of a command grab, right? So grabs in this game, given the combo system and the fact you can cancel out of a lot of the grabs, they're going to be extra scary. One random grab from a character who has some rev gauge to play around with and some meter to work with and a combo off can probably wind up deleting your health. And the break, once again, off Hell Rotor seems cool. Everyone had at least one break in Mark of the Wolves, and now seemingly everyone has now probably 2 or more. So combo ability is really, really, really high. Now we're going to see more of those breaks in action here. So close heavy punch into EX Rotor, which doesn't do the second hit, so it looks like it's a break, into EX Hell Trap, which again is another break. Then we get the level 2 version of Kevin's famed kick super. It's a kind of a big deal, right? Lots of hits, big explosions, and more combo ability. And he ends off again with the EX version of that strike we saw before. And then just kind of keeps on going. Kevin can do some stuff. Not the least of which here, you're seeing our hidden gear super, our big cinematic super, right? And I don't know the intelligence behind this, but taking like a big napalm or explosive round, and I'm going to punch in the opponent's face, which is fine, but you're also right there, Kevin. Like, you're a foot away. It'll explode, sure, but you're there. So we'll have to wait and see, I guess, for another trailer for more gameplay to see how that one plays out. But doesn't seem very good for self-preservation. So Kevin seems to translate very well into the new gameplay mechanics and systems we have going in City of the Wolves. Perhaps not some of his crazier things where he could basically, cancel special moves into other normals, which led to some very wild combo routes. The systems in this game are wild enough as it is, so he can just be regular crazy instead of game-breakingly crazy like he was in Mark of the Wolves. And now with his arrival, and especially with the hints of Freeman in his character bio, it looks like we can start expecting more Mark of the Wolves specific characters to show up. We've talked about in other videos, we know some characters that are basically guaranteed, all but guaranteed. Characters like Billy Kane, Joe Higashi, Mai Shiranui. And now with Kevin and all that, Freeman likely, maybe some other characters like Hokuto Maru and all that, maybe a good mix of the Fatal Fury OGs and the newcomers of Mark of the Wolves. Well, see, I guess I got to play it again at EVO as well, and it's just as good as I've thought about it before. It looks like to be a very special and fun game coming out early 2025, and honestly, can't wait. We still got probably a lot more trailers to go, a lot more characters to go, and rest assured, I'll cover them all as they come. That said, however, that is the end of the video. So, thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Fatal Fury.